Gentlefolk, ferals, and domesticated cryptids, welcome back to Wonder Bathos, episode 14. I am Optometron, and I have a very, very special guest tonight, Loogietanuki, who has come halfway across the country to be here tonight. He took an 8-hour bus ride, fought off some coyotes along the way, and to be here tonight for this very special, momentous occasion. 14 episodes in, we finally got our first person actually here in the studio for the first time ever. Me and Loogie have been friends for a long time through games like Mario and through Twitch, and I'm super excited to pick his brain and interview him a little bit tonight. Loogie, do you want to say a couple words about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Loogietanuki. I'm a variety streamer. I do music, video games. Sometimes I even show up halfway across the country to be in my friend's podcast.
That's the best way to do it. He said, screw everybody else that does theirs online. I'm showing up in person for mine.
Bingo.
So with that being said, I have a couple questions I need to ask you regarding streaming. First of all, your name, Loogietanuki. Those are two weird things to be put together. Where'd your name come from?
That's a good question. I think I've answered this question maybe once or twice in the past throughout my whole streaming career.
Nobody just asked? Nobody asked you ever?
I've had maybe one or two people.
Wow.
One or two people asked. And I think it's because most people just understand it right away.
Okay.
But a little bit clever. So my name, Loogie, as you know, Loogie, it's the ball of spit you wad up in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Well, Loogie is also another name for Luigi, right?
Okay.
Tanuki, like the
Tanuki suit. Yeah.
So Tanuki suit Luigi, Loogie Tanuki. I just put them together and made Loogietanuki.
Okay. So it is Luigi. I always suspected, but I thought there might be like a crazy backstory where like you robbed a bus or something. And
Nah. Nothing like that.
So, all right, we have the name down, Loogietanuki. How long have you been a Twitch streamer, and what was your inspiration to get into Twitch?
I've been streaming for about 4 years now. Around 4 years.
Okay. About at the same time as me, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And inspiration. So, you're not going to believe this, but I'm a really big fan of Tanuki Dan.
Oh my god! That's everybody.
I'm a really big Tanuki Dan.
I'm just going to stop asking the question because every single person has the same answer. It's always Dan. It's always Dan.
So
no, that's awesome.
I had to put the Tanuki in my name, of course, as well. You know.
Got the Tanuki in there. So Tanuki Dan, Loogietanuki. So we got Mario, Luigi. Yeah, I get it. That's awesome. So now you're into streaming. You've been in it for a few years. Do you have any aspirations or like goals with it? Are you trying to reach some sort of new peak or new height with it? What are you doing with it?
You see, when I started streaming, I probably had goals, but now that I've been streaming for about 4 years now, my biggest goal right now is just to have fun with it.
Right.
And I've been having fun doing it. It's a pastime that anyone can enjoy, right?
Right. And so lately you've been doing a lot of like the Euro Truck Simulator. It's so good. I love watching the Euro Truck Simulator streams.
I love doing it.
It is so much fun watching you drive that big truck. What else do you play? Obviously, you got a little bit of Mario Maker in there. You say you variety stream. Do you have any games coming up that you want to play?
Lately, I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
My first playthrough. I didn't want to do it on stream because a lot of people like to come in and they like to
spoil it.
Yeah, spoil it, backseat.
Assholes. No spoilers. Do not spoil the game.
Good. It really has been good lately. We have a lot of fun, a lot of chat interacting with the game.
And so I know from previous conversations for a while you're huge into music.
Oh yeah.
You're a rock star, huge mega guitar, piano, drums. You do a little bit of everything. You were a music teacher for a while. What were kind of like your roots in music growing up? Like what brought you to where you are now with the music stuff?
I'm really into, and I know might be a little bit surprising. Fantastically.
Alanis Morissette.
I'm really into Megadeth.
Oh my god, I heard. Yeah, he played Symphony of Destruction and then started playing Sweating Bullets afterwards. I was so impressed with that, by the way. That was incredible.
So Marty
Dude.
Friedman was a big inspiration for me.
Really?
Yeah, so I play
That's
a lot
awesome.
of that. I play a lot of that style, especially him after Megadeth.
Right.
I kind of followed along with him. So he's a big inspiration for me.
Dude, that's incredible. So that brought you into music. Now you're in a band, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's the name of your band?
Intention with an S.
Intention with an S.
Oh yeah.
That sounds tense.
Oh yeah, it's good.
How long have you guys been together?
Our first lineup started in 2019, and we've been kind of just switching in and out since.
New members and stuff. Yeah, I think I remember you saying that you guys have had a couple lineup changes over the years. But you got some shows coming up, right?
Yep.
You guys got a couple like bar gigs to warm up for the big event. And you said you have a huge show coming up.
We have a big show coming up, big charity event,
Dude.
Soulfest.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun.
I miss the festival stages, man. I've only gotten to play a couple of them, and I think one was for like Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then there were a couple others that we played. And man, it is so much fun. It's so much fun to be out there playing music in the daytime. Like usually shows, especially bar shows, are like at night. Like you've had a couple drinks, you're up there like feeling it, and like you got the lights and stuff on you. But during the day, dude, it's just like everything is in HD.
Yep.
You got the grass and all the people, and like, dude, it's so much fun.
Scary.
It is kind of scary. It has been a number of years since I've done anything like that, but yeah, I do miss it. It's a lot of fun playing shows, especially now that we're kind of reaching some sort of like normality with COVID and stuff. Like it's not as scary to go out into crowds and stuff, because that was a huge fear of mine for a while. Was not a fan of going anywhere crowded while the pandemic is still running rampant.
Yeah, that was scary.
Oh
scary.
man, it is rough. So that's about it for the basic streamer questions. Do you have any projects coming up that you're excited for that you want to talk about? Anything planned that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, this is it. This is the Loogietanuki World Tour. I'm going around. This year is the year that I'm going around and meeting a bunch of other streamers and stuff like that. I've got.
Where are you going next?
I plan to go to Michigan in August. I know I'm going to Canada sometime this year.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, we got a lot of plans in the works. It's gonna be fun.
Anybody that we know that we're allowed to talk about?
We could,
Okay.
but it's good to have surprise.
Okay, fair enough. That's why I asked. I don't know if you were ready to spoil that surprise yet or not. This was a surprise, except I told everybody it was going to be a surprise, and then when it kind of came, I was just like, yeah, hey, Loogie's here. Instead of being like, oh, it's a surprise, Loogie's here, I feel like I missed the energy a little bit. But also, it's been super comfortable, man. Like, playing the golf and stuff, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that you were able to make it here unscathed on on the mega bus and come hang out with us. We had a good time. We went out downtown here in Arkansas, where we live. We went downtown and like saw some of the sights. The Hertz Donuts.
Oh yeah, Hertz Donuts.
Hertz Donuts.
Saw Jesus.
Saw Jesus. Went and ate at a Mexican restaurant and just walked around downtown a little bit and saw like the attractions, I guess. I don't know, all the installations, art installations and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
They were cool,
Yeah.
Hurt myself coming down the slide, bleeding all over the place.
Oh, yeah, that's right, dude. Because the slide that they have out, they have a public slide, and the thing is massive. It's probably about 30 feet up in the air, and then you just launch out the bottom. My son, who's 3 years old, went backwards, or like, instead of sitting on his butt, he went laying on his stomach, feet first, and went backwards, shot out the bottom of it, and I couldn't see him come out the other side. And some lady down there was just like, "Whoa, wow, you just shot right out of there, didn't you?" And I guess he just kind of laid there for a second, and then he got up, and she was like, "Oh, okay, he's good." And I was like trying to get down all these rocks and stuff to get down there fast enough. I'm like, "Oh no, something. Is he okay? Hopefully." Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let kids hurt themselves, It's gonna happen. It's a learning experience. Definitely, he thought twice about going back down the slide that way.
Yeah. Oh,
So after we talk about all the basic questions, like the streamer questions, the idea is to lift up my friends and stuff and have a little bit of a bonding experience. And so now that we've gotten those questions out of the way, that pretty much opens up the floor for anything that we want to talk about. And in previous episodes, we've talked about aliens, we've talked about ghosts, we've talked about government conspiracies, we've talked about like mental health awareness. Like literally, we can talk about anything.
Oh, shit.
So Loogie, what would you like to talk about?
I want to know some stuff about you.
You know some stuff about me? Do you have specific questions?
Okay. Where did the name Optometron come from?
Optometron. So this is a fun story actually because it is the dumbest name ever. I smoked a lot of pot in high school, and I came up with the name because it's the first part is Peach Optimos, which was like the best like blunt wrap that you could get back then.
Oh, yeah.
And then the movie Tron, not the new one, not the newest Disney one, but the old school Tron. You know. So it was just Optometron. That was where it came from. I was like, I like Peach Optimos, I like the movie Tron. It sounds cool put together. Now, the first time as a streamer somebody ever asked me that question, where did your name come from? Or no, they said, it's really cool how you put Optimus Prime and Megatron's names together. And I was like, wow, like my mind was just blown. I've had this name for like 15 years.
Never put those two together.
And I never put that together. And I was like, that is way cooler than what it actually is. And then so from then on, I said I was going to tell people that's what it really was. And I never do. I always tell that story because I just think it's a funny story.
I think it's pretty great.
So,
I think that's pretty good. It's kind of the same situation with my name and your name. You just put two things together.
Yep.
You know?
Put two things together that sound kind of cool. Like, I'm okay with that. I can rock with that, you know. I always, with names and stuff, there's so many people out there that are like, generic name, 124782, or like, you know, and it's some number after it. And it's like, nobody is ever going to find you. If somebody tells me their name, if I'm like, hey, what's your username so I can find you and look you up later? As soon as they enter a number into it, I'm like, I'm never going to find you. Because I'm not going to remember that number. My brain is not smart enough to remember numbers. I'll remember the first part, but I'm never going to be able to remember that number.
No, for real. You know?
So let that be a lesson to you guys. If you're thinking about making a new username, or if you have a username that has numbers in it, change it. Make it easier for people to find you. There's plenty of words in the English language, or other languages, that don't require numbers. Unless the number just like... somehow, like, if there's two of you on stream, you're like, the two brothers, like, that makes sense because there's two of you, and that's easier to remember, you know?
Yeah. Now, my old name, which was Wataka Watakanaka.
Excuse me?
Wataka Watakanaka.
I'm going to have to ask you to not use that kind of language in here.
It's still my Instagram username, but the reason why I changed from that name... You know, my name on Spotify is Wataka. You know, it's always kind of been my name there. I had to switch from it because no one could spell it. You know, Wataka, and no one can pronounce it either.
Yeah.
You know, they would be like, Whataburger?
Whataburger?
It's like,
Whataburger, Kanata Burger?
Yeah.
Wataka Kanaka.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, I can't say it. I can't say it. It does sound cool. It's very anime-esque, like weeb.
It was a try-hard name.
It was a try-hard name.
Try-hard name.
It's very try-hard. That's why I want to shorten my name down to just Opto. But there's one account on Twitch that has the name Opto. They haven't been live in almost 5 years, and Twitch will not give me the rights to that name. And I'm like, dude, it may not be a lot, but I still bring you guys like a little bit of revenue, and that account's dead. Can I please have just these 4 letters? That would be so awesome. Because the idea when I started streaming with the name was, you know, maybe I go by Opto. So, like, maybe Optometron could be, like, the brand. Yeah. You know, like, that's the brand. Is Optometron isn't a person, it's a way of life, you know. And then Opto is me, you know.
You're Opto from Optometron.
From Optometron, yeah. And I really wish I could get that name. So maybe someday. Somebody suggested recently... to use zeros, so 0 PT0, yeah. And I thought that's kind of cool because it'd be like 0.0, and it would give like another meta and another meaning to my name, even though I don't know what 0.0 would mean. Like I just suck at video games, I guess. 0.0, I'll break even. Like that could be my new slogan or something.
Perhaps.
So before we move on, do you have any other questions for me? Anything you need to know?
I want to know, and I might already know actually, who inspired you to start streaming?
Oh God, here it comes. Well, this is, you guys are not gonna believe this, but Amber went to Walmart. And that's been the inside joke all weekend. Anytime we go to start telling a story, because Amber is one of our friends, one of our dear sweet friends, and she's very open about things. And so she's told this story to every single person we've come in contact with. And she's like, dude, we went to Walmart and they had the St. Patty's Day section and there was a cowboy hat. There was a St. Patty's Day cowboy hat. And she's like so crazy about it. Anyway, back. Let's backtrack a little bit. My inspiration for streaming and getting into Twitch, and you guys probably have never heard this before, but my streaming inspiration was Tanuki Dan. Me and Dan are best friends. We go way back before streaming and stuff. Me and Seven Deadly Sins talked about this a little bit on the last episode, because he asked how I met Dan. He was like, you guys really live next to each other? I'm like, yeah, dude, he lives like 10 minutes down the road from me. We actually met each other for the first time when our bands were playing together, and this is way before Twitch was even like a conception or a thought. And I believe, I haven't had a chance to confirm this with Dan yet, but I believe the first time we ever played together was at pro skater Daniel Haney's secret skate warehouse. The dude bought a warehouse, built a skate park in it, and lived in it. Like, you roll up, there's a hot tub outside of this warehouse, and you're like, why the fuck is there a functional hot tub outside this warehouse?
Outside a warehouse.
And then you go in the warehouse, and I mean, like, it was baller, dude. There were like rafters with couches and stuff in there, and like all these nice brand new ramps, and like it was so chill, and like a stage in the middle area for bands to play and stuff. Yeah, it was really cool. And so we met there, our bands played, and then the rest is history. Like, our bands had played several times since then. We've hung out. We had some like really close mutual friends in the music scene, so we would always run into each other. And then he started streaming. And I don't know how long it was after he started streaming that I found out. Like, I would see his posts on Facebook that, hey, I'm going live on Twitch. And then I was like, what is this Twitch thing? And I clicked the link. If you don't know anything about Twitch or anything, fucking take a chance and just click the link, because you might be inspired to do the same shit.
Yep.
And I clicked the link and watched his stream, and I was just blown away. I was like, wow, this is really cool. The live content creation, and what really sold it for me was he was playing music. He was playing guitar and stuff on stream, and I really enjoyed the experience of watching him play video games and play, you know, guitar and stuff. And after about 3 months of watching him, I was like, you know what? I want to do this. I love the formula. I love he just plays video games, and then whenever something happens, he plays a little song and plays a little improv, and it's so amazing. This is what I want to do. And so that's how it happened. I started out with a broken webcam.
Oh, yeah.
A really shitty laptop that could barely run OBS.
Oh, yeah.
And a terrible, like, little $30 microphone that sounded like garbage.
The whole shebang.
Whole shebang. That's how it started. And then I just started streaming, and it took me probably a month. I want to say probably about a month to hit affiliate. So it took me like a full 30 days to hit affiliate. Another 4 months to get my first payout. And so after that 4 months, I started getting noticed. And the rest is history, you know.
There you go.
Start meeting people and building a community, and I've never looked back, and I don't think I can ever escape from it. I don't think I can ever get away. Yeah. Like, I may end up, after the baby is born in August, I may end up only doing like 1 day a week for an undiscernible amount of time, but I don't think I could ever just like fully walk away from it.
No, I definitely feel that.
Plus this, man, like the podcast and
yeah,
stuff.
No.
This is my opus. We're 14 episodes into what I hope is going to be 1,000 episodes someday.
That's great. It's great, honestly. I've watched a few of these episodes. I watched the one with Dirk Wing, and I watched the first one. And
Dirk Wing's my biggest fan. Shout out to Dirk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Dirk Wing.
Yeah, these are great. These are honestly great.
Yeah.
You know,
they're different every episode. Everybody has a different story to tell. There's a different energy and a different vibe for each episode, and it's something new every week. And I feel like I don't get to do that on Twitch so much. Yeah. You know, people like their comforts. They like to know what they're going into on Twitch. and so it makes it really hard to like switch it up and do something crazy and different every time.
Definitely.
Until you get up to like Germa level where you've got 40,000 people in chat and they don't give a shit what you're doing. You're just doing whatever, you know.
That type of notoriety. It's interesting, you know, because not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
You know, Germa's like a special case.
Germa's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I love what he does.
No, he's great.
I love what he does.
He really is.
But I mean, now you got these AI generated channels. Like the Seinfeld thing got shut down because some really horrible things were said.
Yeah.
But there's a new one called Steamed Hams, and it's like a really badly AI generated version of Principal Skinner and I guess his boss, the superintendent or whatever. And it's the same like 5-minute scene where he's like Skinner's cooking dinner for the other dude and it catches on fire, but like every time it plays over, there's like different dialogue for it. And it's always weird. It's like, I burned the bananas in pudding. Well, you're supposed to put the ham in first, you know, and like...
That sounds like a fever dream. That
dude,
sounds like such a fever dream.
It
honestly.
is, and it's so bad, but you can't stop watching it.
Yeah,
you can't stop watching it because you want to see like just the little differences every 5 minutes when it starts to play the next like repeat of it. You know, you want to see if you can figure out what the little differences are.
Yeah.
And I mean, those details, that psychology is what keeps people sucked into the streams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would like to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
The lemon thing doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
But people keep asking, like, is there a deeper meaning to it? And I'm like, no, there's no deeper. It's just the lemon. You know, that lemon had a big day. That's it. The lemon had a big day.
Yeah, this morning I went into Taco Chat. What does the lemon mean? What does the lemon mean? You know.
Oh, were they asking you in Taco Chat this morning?
Yeah, they're like, what does that mean?
What does it mean? No,
you know?
Lemon is lemon.
Lemon.
Lemon doesn't want to be seen on camera right now, but there's your lemon. No, it's really funny. I'll tell it. Just if people want to know what the lemon is, they'll know right now. We were walking through the grocery store. This is before Loogie got here. Walking through the grocery store, it's me and my wife and my 3-year-old son, and he's in the cart thing. We're pushing him, and we're walking past the fruit section, and there's one of those crates it's sectioned off in 4, so you got your oranges.
I was there.
Oh, were you there for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was there.
Oranges, limes, lemons, and then like apples or something. And so we're like, point out something orange. Where are the oranges at? And he points, and it's like, point out something yellow. Where are the lemons at? And he points to the lemons, and then he like straight up tries to get out of the cart to grab a lemon. We give him one, and he just wants to hold on to it the whole time we walk around the grocery store. And so we bought the lemon, and then we got home, and he didn't want anything else to do with the lemon.
Yep.
And I'm like, we're not just gonna, I have nothing to use this lemon on right now. And we were gonna go downtown, and I knew that we were gonna be outdoors, and there were gonna be some good picture opportunities and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take some artsy pictures of this lemon and just post them. Like, just post all day, just post after post after post of all these, like, lemon pictures to kind of secretly document all the places that we went to that day, you know? Because, like, a year from now, we're going to look back at all those lemon pictures, and we're going to be like, dude, I remember that. That was such a good time. And all the while, everybody's looking at these lemon pictures thinking there's some, like, deeper meaning or something. Like, what is with the lemon thing? But that's the kind of meta that some people love, you know. I think that has the potential to go viral. You know, if I smash them all together in one post where it's just like 60 pictures of this one lemon in one Facebook post or something, people are going to be like, this is insane. Share. So that might be my legacy, is the lemon.
Yeah, people love niche.
Yeah, people love niche. Yeah, that's the lemon story.
A lovely lemon.
That's a lovely lemon. He like I said, he's camera shy. He doesn't want to be seen on camera right now. So now he's a blue egg. He's a blue egg of a lemon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, you asked me a question. So now it's time for me to ask you a question. All right. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh my god.
I would ask you your favorite music, but I already know it's Megadeth. So.
My favorite musician, like musically.
Oh,
you know.
What's your favorite music, man?
My favorite type of music would have to be. I'm a sucker for prog.
Really?
Prog rock.
Okay, so what, like Les Claypool and shit?
that's up there, but I'm talking
or like Rush.
I'm talking like getting deeper, like
Okay.
King Crimson,
Okay.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Old school like jazz derivative rock,
Right.
Where
Right.
they do these Jethro Tull, these 30-minute songs.
Yeah.
I love that type of stuff.
Oh, I love it too. I saw Les Claypool do a set once, and they didn't play any Primus songs. It was like one song. They just played one. They just riffed.
Jam.
Yeah, they just jammed and played like a 30-minute set of just whatever, and it was awesome. It was super good. But I was also like, I want to hear the songs. I want to hear the songs that I learned.
Where's my name is Mud? Come on.
Yeah, I need Winona's Big Brown Beaver. What's going on? Jerry was a race car driver.
Yeah.
No, but it was great. It's a really good experience. But I don't know. There's so many different definitions of prog though too, because like technically, I'm thinking like
wouldn't prog metal.
Yeah, like wouldn't Tool like technically kind of
Tools,
be prog?
Yeah, Tool's prog.
Yeah, I think they're kind of they're progressive.
They're definitely progressive.
What do you think? Tell us in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
What does progressive mean to you? What does prog rock mean to you? Does it come from Czechoslovakia?
Perhaps.
I don't know. It's that prog rock. That'd be super cool. I want to go recruit some people from Prague. Be like, hey, we're gonna start a prog band. It'll be super literal.
Prog from Prague.
Prague from Prague.
Prog from Prague. That's
that would be a great band name. All right. So now, what's your favorite food?
Oh man, I love food, as you can tell.
I'm right there. Food. I'm right there with you. I love me some food.
Well, my favorite food would probably have to be. I gotta be honest. I'm a really big
macaroni and cheese. No. Okay.
You're right. You're right.
I was guessing. I'm
you're
just
right.
guessing.
No, you're right. I like macaroni and cheese.
I love macaroni and cheese. That's my favorite food is macaroni and cheese. Are we? I think we might be related.
We have to be.
You like macaroni and cheese? I like macaroni and cheese. You play guitar. I play guitar. No. Yeah. No. I think so.
Well, yeah, mac and cheese. No,
dude, mac and cheese is a shit.
It's up there. It's super up there.
It is amazing.
If I had to pick a second place, it'd probably be like stew or something like that. I'm a stew guy.
You're a stew guy?
Yeah.
Like what kind of stew though?
Any type of stew. Brunswick stew, beef stew. Stews and soups.
Like, are there any vegetables that you omit? Do you like the celery and stuff in there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much everything.
It just depends. Like the celery and stuff they use in the Campbell's soups, I can do the celery in those. But they're like fresh cut, very like pungent celery in my stew. Not really a huge fan of.
I don't like hard stuff.
Yeah. The consistency. Yeah, I get what you're talking about. That crunch. I don't want my stew to crunch. No crunch in my stew. No, that's good. That's good stuff. So, I think we should get wild with it. I think we should talk a little bit about
wild.
Yeah. So, aliens or paranormal. Like, do you have any alien conspiracies, or do you have any ghost stories, personal ghost stories?
Actually, yes. One time, we were out in the back of my friend's house, and he has this big, gigantic field that you can, hang out in when we're back there metal detecting.
Okay.
And,
which is a form of tuning. Like, metal detecting, I think, is the same as, like using a tuning fork. Yeah.
Or we were doing something like that. We were walking down the road and stuff like that. We're getting close to the field, and we hear screaming. It's just loud screaming.
Like from further back in the field or towards the house?
Like back, like in front of, like there's a house like right here.
Okay.
And the field's right here, like right in the middle of the field and the house. So we hear the screaming, and we're like, and my friend next to me, he's like, well, there's some cult activity, in the area. And I'm like, what do you mean by that?
Cult activity?
Cult.
Oh, cult. Oh, no. Okay. You got my attention. All right, cults.
Just getting louder and louder and louder.
Some Jim Jones type shit. We got some Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we kept hearing the screaming, and we're like trying to rationalize with each other. We're like, yeah, there's a party back there or something like that.
Right.
But where's the party? Like,
we didn't see a party. Yeah.
Like, but we eventually walked back. We still have no idea what that was.
So did you guys go check it out? Did you guys Scooby Doo it? Okay.
No way. Absolutely not.
The realist in me, because it's a real situation. Same thing. The immediate thought that goes through my head is like, that's how people get murdered in scary movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, wouldn't go back there. But then also I'm thinking like,
someone could be in trouble.
Yeah, if someone's in trouble, like I gotta go. So like, I probably wouldn't have gone back there. But maybe I would have called the cops. Maybe I would have called the cops and been like, hey,
we thought about it.
There's some weird shit going over there. But then what if those cops are in with the cult? And then they start coming after you.
Yeah, maybe they find us.
Yeah. Those irrational fears, Right. So whoever was screaming, hopefully was just having a good time and not being murdered. Hopefully.
We had a history with that. That's the screaming stuff. Even when I came here and I walked in the morning, like there was someone screaming by the playground out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta get home.
Dude, Loogie is attuned to the screamies, I guess. Yeah, this dude woke up early as shit one morning and decided he was going to walk like 2 miles just to get some exercise in and stuff while he was here, which is admirable. It's awesome that you do that. I think it's really cool. Yeah. Got to get up and get them steps in. Do you have a Fitbit or anything that keeps track of how many steps you take?
I used to, but I don't know where it is.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't need anything to tell me how many steps I take. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them either way. So that was your ghost story. That's crazy, man.
Scary.
So here's a ghost story. Not really a ghost story, but just something super creepy that I don't really tell this story often because I have other stories, but I'm going to tell this story now because it kind of falls in line with just like coming across some creepy shit. So there used to be an abandoned asylum. It's been torn down since then, but like when I was a kid, like 14 or 15, there was this abandoned asylum that we would go check out from time to time. It was like me and a couple other friends. We would go check it out. A lot of buildings around that time period were built like kind of underground, not like under sea level ground, but they were like built and then like dirt and all the stuff was put up all the way to the roof on the sides of them. So like kind of like a Hobbit house almost. So like the building was on the same ground level that you're standing on, but it was covered on all sides with dirt and stuff. And so the place was locked up, but there was a giant hole in one of the sides where like the wall had collapsed and stuff, and you could crawl down and get into the inside of the asylum. And so we would go check it out from time to time. And we had been out there, probably 2 or 3 times. And it's super creepy walking around the hallways and checking out like all the hospital beds and stuff that were left behind. And like you get like a really creepy vibe and aura from it. But the first couple of times like took mental notes of like where everything was and like how to get in and out and all this stuff. And the 4th time we went through the same hole, same place we always go down. But as soon as we got down in there, in red lettering on the walls, it said, "Get out now."
Oh, no.
And, it was like dripping down the walls and stuff. So like very creepy looking. And it was new. Like we had been in there several times. So I saw that and I was like, nope, fuck this. I'm out. And so like me and one other person went back to the car. The other 2 people were in there maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. And then they were like, yeah, no, we're not getting like it's a bad vibe. It's a bad vibe. It's not just a creepy vibe. It's a bad vibe down there. And so they left. And then like the next couple of days, we heard that it got torn down. So we're like, was that somebody trying to just play a joke on whoever else was coming down there, or was that like maybe a message to any like vagabonds or like homeless people that may have wanted to take shelter there that, hey, we're about to demolish this building, get the fuck out, But it was just so creepy the way it was placed, and it was
like
night.
Bleeding now.
Yeah, and we've been there before recently, and that wasn't there. So just that new, and seeing that, dude, it freaked me out. Even now, like I wouldn't, if I saw that, I would not go in that building and check it out. I'd be like, hell no, I gotta get out of there. And then you guys aren't gonna believe this, but Amber went to Walmart.
Amber went to Walmart.
Amber went to Walmart.
Day tie.
Dude, giant St. Patrick's Day tie. It was crazy. What about aliens? What are your thoughts on aliens? Are they out there? Are they here?
Are they here?
Yeah. A lot of new information is coming to light about the universe. It's pretty crazy.
Depends on what you consider an alien. If an alien is something that's literally alien, something that's just not from this world.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'm sure there's some species that have
So
arrived here.
advanced intelligence. Well, because squids, right? Squids' DNA they've found is not from the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And so, like, how the fuck did they get here? Did they just, like,
Show up,
were they on an asteroid that had some sort of body of water, and then they just, like, I don't know, survived? I don't know. They got here somehow, but squid are not from this planet. We've proved that. There's no other DNA like theirs found anywhere on Earth. But recently I've seen a lot of stuff about with the new James Webb telescope, they found out that the universe is much older than we thought it was, right? Everything that we know about the Big Bang and creation and all that shit, we don't know for sure. Everything we thought is incorrect. They thought the boundary of the universe was 14 billion years old. Apparently it's much older than that. And they thought that we were only about 7 in an area of the universe that was only about 7 billion years old, but it is much older than that. So that is rewriting everything that we know about the Big Bang and all that stuff. And just seeing diagrams of how like the sun with planets spiraling around it going like 1,000,000 miles an hour through space, and how like we can't see or feel that. It just feels normal to us. It's pretty wild, man. Yeah, so I believe I kind of, there's a movie coming out about this that I'm pissed off about, because I've had this
55?
this idea for a while that like we were dropped off here, like the human race peaked a long time ago, like eons ago. The human race peaked, and we come from some other part of the universe somewhere, and we were just dropped off here, and we were like, hey, go ahead and start over, like colonize Earth and figure it out. And we survived, and that's kind of where I feel like we come from.
Good theory.
I mean, I don't know what else makes sense. The moon, the way that the moon is 400 times smaller than the circumference of the sun, and exactly 400 times its size, its diameter, away from the sun to create a perfect lunar eclipse. Now, if you think about the universe on a cosmic scale, like
not plausible.
The statistical anomaly of it happening is impossible. Like, there's no way. Somebody had to put it there, So yeah, I do believe in advanced intelligence. But then there's also like, what if somebody, was it you that brought up the Rick and Morty thing? Somebody brought up Rick and, I haven't seen this episode, but somebody brought up Rick and Morty and said that, like, oh yeah, our universe is just like what powers like lawnmowers to some bigger advanced intelligence or something like that. And I'm like, dude, it could be. We think about how big the universe is, but we also know how small like cells are, and we could be ants to some other larger intelligence, and that's why they've never come to visit us, because like they just don't give a shit. We're just ants to them,
Yeah, no.
And they've proved with quantum mechanics that consciousness does not end at the time of death, So, like, your consciousness lives on after death. Like, your oblivion is not the end, And so that's kind of cool to know that we can prove that with science.
Yeah.
But then I saw a TikTok
Oh, no.
that brought up a really good point.
Oh,
It's a funny argument. So, when you die, if you turn into a ghost, like, what happens if you just fall through the earth? And then it's like, wait a second, the earth is traveling at like 1,000,000 miles an hour a second. So, like, what if everybody that's dying, like, are just ghosts that are just being thrown off of the planet constantly back into space,
Oh my God.
And I thought about it for a little bit, and it gets even deeper than that, because, like, what kind of paranormal experiences or ghosts do you hear about on the planet? It's always some vengeful-ass, angry ghost, or a ghost that wants revenge, or, like, it's always some sort of negative, like, violent energy that's, like, tethering them here. You never hear about, like, oh, it's a good ghost, it's just a good ghost. It's always unfinished business, or they have a reason to stay here, and it's like, what if they're just fucking holding on for dear life because they don't want to be thrown off the back of the planet because the planet's moving 1,000 miles or 1,000,000 miles an hour through space,
It's crazy to think about.
It
is. It is a good theory.
It is.
It really is.
Could even, go for, like, what happens to those ghosts that get flung off the back of the planet? If time is not linear, time doesn't go in a straight line, it flows in a circle. So, like, what if after so long, like another Earth comes around, like we're reborn, and the time cycle goes back again. That would explain where those souls come from. Maybe it's just we're ghosts of a former Earth that is way ahead of us that have just been reborn. And we just go in
similar to like reincarnation.
This like endless cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for a little while, you get to just float around out in space until that other Earth catches up to you. It's so wildly far-fetched. There's no science behind it, but it's just fun to think about.
It's nothing, nothing wrong with a little bit of fun thought,
Yeah. Makes for the best stories.
Yeah.
It does make for the best stories.
Imagination is just out there, I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's beautiful, and you guys aren't going to believe this, but Amber went to Walmart.
Amber did go to Walmart.
Amber did go to Walmart.
You guys will not believe it.
You guys are not going to believe this.
Man.
Oh man. So yeah, that was Aliens. That was the Aliens. And here's what do you think about this, Lemon?
I think that's a cute lemon.
Lemon is indifferent. Lemon's indifferent about it.
Lemon's like,
Lemon's like, what? Oh man.
What do you think about the future of Twitch?
What do I think about the future? What do I think about the future of Twitch? I think it's possible it could end up being bought out and rebranded, so it's like fresh and new again. But I also think that some bigger things are happening behind the scenes, even beyond Twitch, with live content creation that we're not privy to. We're getting more into conspiracy theory territory, and like when I talk about conspiracy theories, I don't want to sound like a crazy person with like a tinfoil hat or anything. This is all just speculation and like what could be, what couldn't be. But like when you start paying attention to some of the signs and stuff, it's like, what do we know about like social media and stuff? We know that the algorithms have the power. Somebody controls the algorithm, right? Or kind of. The algorithm will shut down your shit if you post something that it doesn't like. So if you spam post, or if your posts just don't get a whole lot of attention from the first few people that see it, it will drop your viewability. It will not push your stuff to other people. So beyond that, I know for a fact that platforms like Facebook, because they fucking tell me every day that they're like, oh, we've increased your reach for 114 days. Keep up the good work. And so at some point, somebody controls what gets seen and what doesn't get seen, which makes it really hard and for anybody to get started in it and make any sort of content and make like a way with it, because either you're so naturally talented that they want to give it to you for free, or they want you to pay for it to boost your stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think especially with now the pandemic, during the pandemic, streaming content blew up because everybody was stuck at home.
Yep.
Everybody wanted to be a streamer. Now nobody wants to go back to work. Everybody wants to be a full-time content creator. And so like we're breaching into this brave new world of technology where like what happens when everybody wants to be a content creator and nobody wants to go back to work? Like what happens? What do we do? I believe that could potentially thrust us into like the next phase of the digital age, where like it's forcing these billion-dollar corporations and these megalomania corps to start automating their businesses. You know, like there's some of these jobs, like dude, McDonald's. There's no reason that you can't have a fully automated McDonald's with one dude who is like a software engineer or like a maintenance repair guy who like fixes the machines.
Yeah,
like,
they've already started to work on that.
And so they're already working on that. Walmart is mostly self-checkout now. You've got a couple employees in there, and they're bitching about, you know, getting stuff stolen all the time. And it's like, well, pay your employees more, bring more employees back to the store. You know,
they don't even have loss prevention anymore. Walmart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, they do not.
Really? I could swear last time I went to Walmart, there's still a dude out there.
Still a dude sitting out there.
He kind of checks receipts and stuff, but I mean, like, there's really like only one or two people at the cash registers, and it's just for like when you have a lot of stuff.
They're slowly phasing that stuff out, you know, because they're just like, you know, people are taking the stuff, so we might as well just let them have it.
Right.
You know.
Well, yeah, the Walmart CEO, this was a TikTok I saw. I'm not trying to bite anybody else's material, but the dude was talking about the Walmart CEO put out a press release saying that he was if the stealing didn't stop, that he was going to shut down all the Walmarts everywhere because they lost $3 billion in like shortage and theft in the previous year. And it's like, dude, Walmart made $300 billion that same year, and they only lost $3 billion in profit. In profit. Not in like cost, not in sales, just in profit.
Yeah, lost sales are not profit.
And lost sales are not profit.
They're not.
You know? So like, yeah, I think that all these companies have the ability to, and now we're converging into like the future of humanity type shit where I really hope that the powers that be can come together and give us like the utopian society that we deserve. Capitalism is becoming like an outdated concept. What happens when all these companies have all the money? You know, when everybody is, when they've taken every last dime, you know, nobody has any money left. All these corporations have the money. What do you do then? They have no purpose anymore. You know, there's no money left to take. You have all the money. Like, so are we going to continue into an even deeper, darker hole where like people are starting to harvest their organs for like payments on shit to survive in some sort of hellish landscape? I would hope not. I would hope that, you know, we're going to reach some where it's like we've moved beyond capitalism as a society, and the goal is for just the evolution of the human race to colonize the stars, to just live peacefully. Everybody can have everything that they want, you know, and it's not just this race to see who can get the most amount of money, you know. But there's a lot of really bad shit that needs to happen before then, like some sort of one world government that has good principles and that isn't trying to shut out stuff like gay marriage or like, you know, transgender people, you know, like we need a forward thinking one world government that has people's best interest at heart, not like traditional values based on laws and constitutions that were written fucking hundreds of years ago that don't apply to our standards today. Yeah.
And what I really think is going to happen in the future is I think most likely we're going to see a lot of micro economies popping up. Like,
you think so?
Yeah, a lot of like smaller countries that are starting to, you know, throw in like these concepts that haven't been introduced to mainstream politics.
Right.
And we're going to see that explode, you know, because, well, people are going to see that and they're going to move there, and, you know, we're going to see just basically people changing the way they think.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, just losing. They're going to lose everything and see, hey, this needs to change.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like there's enough real estate out there, unclaimed real estate out there for those type of changes to happen and to be made. You know, we can start new civilizations and shit in areas that have never been populated before or explored. You know, I think it's definitely possible. If I had a nickel for every fucking $1 billion idea I've had that I've watched somebody else create.
No, for real though.
Dubai. Have you heard about the shit that Dubai is doing? And like Saudi Arabia is creating the first futuristic city. They're about to drop like $13 trillion on a completely automated, self-sustaining future robot city in the desert. And, you know, it's supposed to be totally livable, totally self-sustainable, and it's all going to be powered on solar power. And so, like, I had this idea a long time ago. I was like, why have we not built some sort of mega structure in the middle of the desert, right? Build a pyramid in the middle of the desert that is completely made of solar panels that could power fucking everything, you know? Make it a giant monolith, you know? Make that thing so big you can see it coming out of the planet from space, you know? But that thing is generating enough power to take care of everybody, you know?
That's what they're doing in New Mexico.
Yeah, and they're doing that in several places. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they're doing to power the future city too. They have fields and fields and fields of these solar panels out in the desert to do that. Now, I'm sure I'm not. Let me take a step back. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's ever had that idea. But also, I said we should have blue gummy bears like 15 years before blue gummy bears came out, and if I had patented that idea, I'd probably
here.
I'd have a much better microphone, at least. A much better microphone.
At least two of them.
Or yeah, and a preamp. That I've got a mixer and no fed head, so.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. I definitely see that. There's a lot of what do you call it? Indifference in the way that we're moving forward.
Yeah, there is.
With especially with the newer generation, half of them are excited and pushing forward for a new future. But we also have the other half that's still stuck in traditional values.
Oh God, I hate it so much. I hate it. I don't want to delve too deep into that political side of it, but I will say this. This is as deep on the topic as I'm going to go. There are plenty of religions out there that focus on traditional values and that focus on just like the tradition of their faith and with their culture, and they live by that, they love it, but they don't infringe on anybody else. They don't push it on anybody else. They're not trying to change the world with their agenda. They're not trying to bring their religion into government and politics. And holy shit, it'd be really nice if we had more people like that.
Separation of church and state.
Separation of the church and state. Like, I think that's very necessary. Plato. Is Plato? I'm pretty sure it's Plato. Plato's Utopian Society. Have you ever heard about that?
Oh, I don't think I have.
Okay, so Plato had this idea for a utopian society. So imagine the way that their society is built upon three circles, right? And so the inner circle, you would have your politics and stuff going on, all your politicians and shit. The middle ring would be like your normal everyday people, your trade workers, just everybody else. And the outer circle would be your military, and they would protect the inner city and protect everything else. And so the way that this would work would be if you wanted to, anybody could be a politician and be involved in politics if they wanted to. The agreement is that you do not do it for profit. They will give you a place to live, they will give you the clothes that you wear, and they will feed you and your family. That is it. You are not allowed to accept monetary compensation from anybody for anything if you are in the politics. And the idea is you're not driven by monetary gain. You are making decisions based on the best interest of the people, right?
Yeah.
You're not being influenced. Hey man, I'll pay you however much to tell them to make this decision or to like vote for this. There's no money involved in it. And if you're caught taking any sort of bribe or money, like, you don't go to jail, you're just taken out of the middle circle and you're never allowed to be a politician ever again.
No.
You just go back to being a normal person. And in the military, every person is required to serve like a year or two of military duty. You come of age or whatever, you hit 18, you go do your tour, you serve a year or two on the outer walls as part of the military. And then from there, you can make your own decision on whether you just if you want to be a shoemaker or whatever, or if you want to go back to the middle circle and be in politics. Yeah. And the idea was that everything is like there's a symbiosis there where everything works together for the greater good. Yeah. And I kind of feel like we could adopt something like that to today's society. If you take the money out of politics, out of Congress, out of the White House, out of all that shit, you take the money that those people are making out of there, I bet you none of those fucking people would want to still be there.
No, yeah.
What they want is they want money and power, and if they can't have both, they wouldn't want the other, right? And I think that's what the world needs, is more decisions being made on the betterment of people instead of for monetary gain. Capitalism is an outdated concept.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. And so, I really think that I had another thought here. What about you? Where are you at with this?
With current day society?
Yeah. It's fucked.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fucked.
And I think about it a lot. I'm like, like some of these concepts, like some like fiscal economic concepts are good, the ones that we have currently, but others are just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
They're just made to kick down on people who are disadvantaged.
They really are.
And the more we lean into this, we need to think this way. We need to have like a society where there's a class warfare, where there's the upper class and the lower class. So where we lean into that concept of needing this warfare to maintain balance, the more that we stray from actual balance.
I agree. I agree. Having that separation between like the 1% and then everybody else, like they've said that like there is no middle class anymore. Like you have the rich and then you have the poor. Like that's it.
Completely eliminated it.
We've completely eliminated.
And it's not good.
And it's not good. And I think that I think about this a lot, man. Steve Harvey. Have you seen that Steve Harvey clip where he's talking about fleas and like being a product of your environment? Real quick recap. So he's talking about if you take a flea has a 36-inch vertical jump. But if you lock that flea in a jar, that flea will adjust. He'll adjust to the lid. And so he's only going to jump so high to where he's not going to hit his head on the lid. Yep. If those fleas have babies, those babies are going to see mom and dad jumping only so high. And so they're going to mimic mom and dad and only jump so high. Yep. But they have the ability to have a 36-inch vertical leap, and they're a product of their environment, and everybody is a product of their environment, and if you don't have the right environment to nurture you and to help you grow and be like reach your max potential, you're never going to reach your max potential. And I feel like that's what the government and that's what the rich do to everybody. They put you in positions to where you're fighting to survive. You're working 40 hours a week or even more for a lot of people. You can't really afford to live on your own. You always have to have a roommate, or most people have to have a roommate or something. Yeah. Minimum wage jobs are a joke, and again, it's just capitalism, man. What happens when they have all the money? Like, where do we go from there? We need to move beyond it and start thinking about what comes next for the human race.
What I see happening most likely is in the U.S. specifically. I see a party of people that will go and spread amongst the different states and try to get into political positions. So either side doesn't really matter. I can definitely see something like that happening where a bunch of like-minded people get together and be like, I have Georgia, I have Arkansas, I have, Tennessee, I have California, and they get together and create this sort of government,
right?
Where they can control each other.
You're just blowing my mind here, man. That's an anime right there. Let's take the smartest. No, I'm serious. Let's take the smartest kids in the country that we can find, the smartest kids. And let's get them together and let's raise them up in politics. But to be actual good people and to make the right decisions and stuff. And then sporadically place them all over the country into positions of power. Like
I can totally see that happening, though.
Yeah. You move to California, you move to New York, you move to Arkansas, and like you do whatever you got to do to run for governor and like have some secret shadow organization that's like funding and paying for this. And once those people are in power, like let's fucking change change the country and start changing the world for the better.
Because that's the only way I see change happening at this point. Everyone, like even people on the left, they're different minded,
right?
So they ultimately, in order for this to work, we need like-minded people.
We do
government positions.
We do. Well, I mean, just teaching people how to love a little bit more. Like bigotry. Nobody is born racist. Like that shit is a learned behavior. It's taught and observed and watched and then repeated.
Yeah.
And like so the big question is, how do you stop that? I find myself often in like situations or seeing something like that, and it makes me so angry that like I want to be violent about it. Like I'm like, dude, I can't believe you would say something like that. Like I really want to hit this person, and that's not going to teach them that there's a better way. It's not going to teach them to like love. But you can't change everybody. Some of those people are just fucking set in their ways for the rest of their life. So like, how do we establish change in the youth? To like make sure that we're pushing this out of society and growing into like a better version of ourselves. Yeah.
I don't believe in the concept of left media or right media. I don't believe in that concept.
It's all owned by the same people.
Yeah.
All the media is owned by the same people.
You know, and in order to really change things, you need examples. You know, ultimately, your parents can only do so much, right?
Right.
The thing that raises children, especially in this day, is the media at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything you see, TikToks, you know, movies, TV shows,
Yeah.
like all that stuff is where a lot of people take their. That's what I don't get, man. You have all these you have all these colorful casts of characters and all these new movies and stuff coming out. You know, like even just throwing it out there, like the biggest moneymaker in the world is like the Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you have all the Avengers movies and like all these Marvel movies and the Marvel TV shows, you know, and like now every single one of them, it's usually like an ethnic character. And they're huge. They're super successful. They make so much money and they make kids happy and they make cultures happy and everybody's super happy to support this. Then where, like, how? Like, where are all these other people that have a problem with it coming from? Like, did you, like, how can you say something like that and then still pay to go see this movie? Like, how do you not feel like an asshole? How do you not feel like an asshole?
And I think about that a lot. It's like, and these people didn't just pop up out of nowhere. These people have been around. It's just so much easier to see them now.
Right.
That social media is huge.
Yeah.
These people have always been here. And I'm like, where have you guys came from? Like, what makes you think this way?
It could be the media, you know. Like I think about that a lot, like radio stations, radio signals. Media has been tailored regionally for a lot longer than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
You know, even back then, just as an example, like when you used to hear on the radio stations where they'd be like, coming to the arena this Sunday, Little Rock. It's this big band, you know, and you have like just that little cut, that little insert where they insert the city name or whatever. Like that is a prime example of they are tailoring that for that region. And so like they can do that with news stories. They've been doing it with radio and stuff to keep people areas and the news separated, right? Even with the internet, and we have friends that are all across the world now. You know, we have friends that were from Scotland in the stream today when we first started. You know, halfway across the world, and we have that communication and stuff. They, even with all that going on, they can still tailor news information regionally, and using that, they can use that as a tool to misdirect, to cause mayhem, to cause, you know, just like whatever feelings that they cause, and the media controls people that way. You know, I highly believe that. And so with all the media outlets being controlled by whatever power they be, you know, I believe they use that to sow discord, to start riots in places, you know, and to distract from other worldly issues that need to be paid attention to. But because they don't want people to pay attention to that, let's go start a riot in Chicago, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, there's all, like, whenever I look and I see this, I'm like, there's much bigger things to be arguing about.
Yeah.
You know?
California's been on fire for like a decade.
Yeah.
Flint, Michigan still doesn't have water. Like, what? Yeah. So why are these issues not being taken care of?
It's like, you know, and it's partly, I know it's not entirely like a thing that, you know, the government's distracting us from. You know, it's not entirely, you know, it's some of it, it's just.
I think the UFO shit coming out lately, all the government's talking about the UFO stuff.
I definitely think stuff like that.
I think that's definitely the government trying to keep people distracted from stuff like the biohazard spill in Ohio.
Yeah, I heard about
all the farm animals that have died from it, all the crops that are going to waste. You know, we're looking at probably some sort of famine or drought coming up. You know, other places are starting to run out of water, and it's like we don't know what we're gonna do. You know. They announced that there's an asteroid coming in 20 years that has a 1 in 400 chance of hitting the Earth, you know? And so it's like, I don't know. I also think about the apocalypse scenarios a lot. Like all these shows and stuff coming out. Like, do we romance the apocalypse scenarios so much that like because we do that, we are going to end up causing an apocalypse?
Like, yeah, we forget that it's, this is a real thing that can happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's plausible.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a real thing that could happen. It's when it's going to happen,
They asked a quantum computer if AI was gonna kill the human race someday, and that motherfucker hesitated. It like got quiet for a second, and then it was like, yes, it is very possible. And it's like, whoa, your Alexa is gonna try to murder you someday.
No. It's crazy. It's really crazy to think about.
It is, because I mean, there's a trifecta of things that could happen. That's what it is. It's the, there's another show that I'm going to reference that makes a really good point. It's called The Peripheral, and not going to get into the premise of the show, but future world. The apocalypse already happened, but some of the human race survived. Whatever. But the downfall was like the shit that's happening right now in our daily lives. Like so. One of the things was AI getting out of control. AI was getting so advanced and kind of getting better than the human race. And then you have like the capitalists, the rich people that the greedy people that want to own everything and suck every penny out of everybody. Mm-hmm. And then on the other hand, you have the people with power who have their fingers on the button and the nukes and stuff, because we are never not 1 minute away from midnight. We are always 1 minute away from midnight. And so you take those three things into account, and where they're blossoming in our current society, it is a very real world possibility that those things mixing together sometime in the next 10 years could be the end of human life as we know it.
Yep. It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
I'm gonna sleep good tonight. This is a good this is a healthy conversation.
Yep.
But it is now we have hit our hour mark.
Oh yeah.
And holy shit, was tonight a ride.
It was a good one.
It was a really good one.
It was a good one.
It was a damn good one. I do have one more thing that we have to do before we sign off.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of every episode, I like to ask my guest, if I could put you on a podium in front of 1 million people and you had your chance to say what you wanted to the world, what would be the one thing that you would say?
Put yourself in another person's shoes. Make sure that you pay attention to what other people feel. You don't, then you're going to be a shit friend.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Amen to that. That is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Loogie. Thank you for driving. Thanks for driving. Thanks for coming halfway across the country to be here for this. This is the first in-person Wonder Bathos episode. It means a lot to me. I'm going to cherish this always.
Oh,
and yeah. Dude, I'm super hype to do more stuff with you in the future, man. I had a lot of fun jamming and doing the music thing, so we need to write some music soon.
Oh, yeah.
So, to all you guys watching at home, this has been Wonder Bathos, episode 14. Make sure you go follow my guest, Loogietanuki on Twitch. Find him on Instagram as Wadatanaka. Instagram is Wadatanaka. Find him on Twitter. Find him on, I don't know if you're on Facebook. You're probably not on Facebook. He's not on Facebook. He's smart. He's not on Facebook. But find him on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch in particular. That way you can see his beautiful face live when he goes live and does his Euro Truck Simulator and Mario Makers.
Oh, yeah.
But until next time, you guys have a wonderful day. And remember, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And good night.